This video is about outsourcing. What we will argue is that outsourcing is an important phenomenon these days for Western companies, and it relates to a number of activities. Second, we will show how companies can make a decision between what to outsource and what to do themselves, what to keep inside the company. And third, we were going to discuss the risks that are related to outsourcing. Outsourcing is a common phenomenon in the strategy of most Western companies. Examples are the IT industry, where a large part of help desk and software development is outsourced to faraway countries. Another example is the outsourcing of manufacturing to companies in the fashion business and garment business in India and Bangladesh, and outsourcing of complete manufacturing of products like consumer products to Chinese manufacturers. Through outsourcing, companies can benefit from the expertise, but also the lower cost that faraway suppliers represent. Let's have a look at the definitions of insourcing versus outsourcing. In insourcing, we see the situation where a company invests in all resources in order to be able to perform a particular activity in-house. Outsourcing means that a company deliberately divests itself of all resources to transfer a particular activity to another company on a commercial, contractual basis. Outsourcing usually leads to unanticipated resistance and change because people in Western companies lose their jobs, a dramatically changed risk profile because companies become very dependent on outside suppliers, and unexpected societal effects due to loss of jobs in the country. There's a lot of debate within the industry whether to outsource or not, and the question is, of course, how can a company judge whether it would be wise to outsource a certain activity or to keep it in-house? And this scheme helps companies to do that. Here in this scheme you see that you have to look at the level of competitiveness of internal activity relative to suppliers. So, how good are you in conducting a certain activity internally compared to outside suppliers? And secondly, you have to look at the strategic importance of that particular activity. Here, we look at the strategic importance of that competence or activity. And strategic importance means, does it discriminate and make our company unique relative to our competitors? Take an example, should a university like Eindhoven University of Technology outsource catering or not? Well, you could first say that for a university like this one, it cannot compete head-on with specialist caterers. So its level of competitiveness relative to suppliers is rather low. At the same time, our university attracts very little students because of its restaurants and lunch facilities. So what we can say is here you should go for an outsourcing option, and that is actually what you see happening. There are 4 different strategies that you can pursue based on this matrix. One is outsource. Second is collaborate with the supplier. The third is maintain or invest, or keep activities in-house. And every situation should be judged based on this matrix. Now, what is the effect of outsourcing to companies? And the answer is, it depends. It depends where you start. Initially, what we see is when companies start to outsource activities, it contributes to their profitability. But after a certain moment, and we don't know exactly when that will happen, outsourcing is going to fire back, because we see then that it hampers the profitability. In fact, the profitability is reduced if you go too far. And the reason for that is twofold. One is, beyond this tipping point that we do not know exactly where it resides, but after this tipping point, the company is going to lose significant knowledge, specific knowledge that it needs to keep control of the supplier. And secondly, what we see is that after a certain moment, a company may lose control over the relationship with that particular provider, and that provider is going to take control of the relationship. And that means that it's going to charge, in fact, what it wants to charge to a customer. So outsourcing, yes, it's an important phenomenon in our world. It is part of most sourcing strategies. We have mechanisms to decide whether or not to go for outsourcing, but it represents significant risks. The law of diminishing returns applies to outsourcing strategies. So beware of that.